one of Islam's religiously acceptable forms of deception. It involves lying to protect yourself or to protect the Muslim community. Historically, Taqiyya has been much more important for Shia Muslims than for Sunni Muslims because Shias have been in the minority much more frequently than Sunnis, and in order to protect themselves from being persecuted or slaughtered by Sunnis, Shias often had to deny that they're Shias. The prevalence of Taqiyya among Shias living in Sunni areas has led many Sunnis to conclude that Shias invented Taqiyya, despite the fact that Taqiyya is found in the Quran. For instance, in chapter 16, verse 106 of the Quran, Allah says that His wrath abides on any Muslim who decides to reject Islam, unless the Muslim is forced to reject Islam while inwardly remaining a true believer. The verse reads, "Whoso disbelieveth in Allah after his belief, save him who is forced thereto, and whose heart is still content with faith. But whoso findeth ease in disbelief, on them is wrath from Allah. Theirs will be an awful doom." This verse was supposedly revealed after Muhammad's companion, Amr bin Yasir, cursed Muhammad and praised pagan gods while being tortured. Since Amr only cursed Muhammad because he was being tortured, he was forgiven. So, if you're a Muslim and you say, "I reject Islam," and you mean it, you're in trouble. But if you're a Muslim and you say, "I reject Islam," and you don't mean it, you're okay. Some Muslims insist that this is all there is to Taqiyya. It's simply pretending to renounce your faith in order to protect your life. But Taqiyya also involves pretending to be friendly towards non-Muslims even though you hate them. In chapter 3, verse 28 of the Quran, we read, "Let not the believers take disbelievers for their friends in preference to believers. Whoso doeth that hath no connection with Allah, unless it be that ye but guard yourselves against them, taking, as it were, security." Don't take unbelievers as friends unless it's to guard yourselves against them. Notice that this verse has nothing to do with pretending you're not a Muslim. It's about pretending to be friendly when you don't really want to be friendly. Let's read the most respected Muslim commentary in history on this verse, Tafsir of Ibn Kathir on chapter 3, verse 28 of the Quran. Allah prohibited His believing servants from becoming supporters of the disbelievers or to take them as comrades with whom they develop friendships rather than the believers. Allah warned against such behavior when He said, "And whoever does that will never be helped by Allah in any way," meaning whoever commits this act that Allah has prohibited, then Allah will discard him. Allah will discard a Muslim who has a Jewish or Christian or pagan friend. But we've already seen that there's an exception. Ibn Kathir continues, "Unless you indeed fear a danger from them," meaning except those believers who, in some areas or times, fear for their safety from the disbelievers. In this case, such believers are allowed to show friendship to the disbelievers outwardly, but never inwardly. For instance, Al-Bukhari reported that Abu ad-Darda said, "We smile in the face of some people, although our hearts curse them." Al-Bukhari said that Al-Hasan said, "Taqiyya is allowed until the day of resurrection." Abu ad-Darda, one of Muhammad's companions, said, "We smile in the face of some people, although our hearts curse them." That's how Muhammad's companions understood Taqiyya. Why would Muslims need to pretend to be friendly? Because the Quran commands Muslims, "Fight those who do not believe in Allah," chapter 9, verse 29. "Fight those of the unbelievers who are near to you and let them find in you hardness," chapter 9, verse 123. Muhammad is the messenger of Allah, and those who are with him are severe against disbelievers and merciful among themselves, chapter 48, verse 29. Muslims are commanded to violently subjugate non-Muslims, but sometimes Muslims aren't in a position to subjugate the unbelievers. What are they supposed to do then? Are they supposed to share their plans and say, "We're not going to attack you now, but as soon as we get the chance, we're going to conquer your civilization, put your men to death, rape your wives, and enslave your children"? Of course not. Countries wouldn't invite them in if they said that. So Allah commands them to pretend to be friendly, giving rise to the Islamic proverb, "If you can't cut your enemy's hand, kiss it." Now, please don't misunderstand me when I explain what Islam teaches. When I tell you about Islam, I'm not telling you what your Muslim friends believe. So don't think that because Islam commands Muslims to violently subjugate unbelievers, but to pretend to be friendly when outnumbered, your Muslim friends must be lying to you when they say that Islam is a religion of peace. The average Muslim living in the West knows next to nothing about Islam and has been raised with the same values the rest of us were raised with. So when your Muslim friends tell you that Islam is peaceful, they probably believe it. Unfortunately, Islam isn't defined by peaceful, westernized Muslims. Islam is defined by Allah and Muhammad, and Allah and Muhammad say, fight the unbelievers unless you can't fight them. And if you can't fight them, deceive them so that they're completely off guard when it's time to fight them. We saw this in the Quran, and we saw it in Islam's most respected commentary on the Quran, which included quotations from Bukhari, Islam's most respected collector of ahadith, and 2 of Muhammad's companions. So anyone who tells you that Islam doesn't promote this kind of deception either has no clue what he's talking about, or he's practicing Taqiyah.
Muhammad claimed that there is hypocrites, and he is not one of them. But look what he said. It is not lawful to lie except in 3 cases. Something the man tells his wife to please her, to lie during the war, to lie in order to bring peace between the people. Okay, hold on. Let us analyze this. The man is allowed to lie to his wife in order to say something to please her. If he tell her, I did marry a second wife, she will be upset. So what we do? We lie. I say to her, for sure you are the only wife I have. What are you talking about? You are the most beautiful woman. I will never look at any woman except you. But yet the guy he have already other wife. It is lawful to lie to your family in Islam. But hold on, why? What kind of a prophet he teaches followers that I can lie in order to please someone? Is that an ethical thing? What about the woman lying to her husband? Is that an ethical thing? So if the wife now, she lied to her husband to please him, it is logical in Islam, and it is ethical. So lies is exchange. It's a lifestyle in Islam, and the purpose is to please your partner. So we spend the day lying to each other. I lie to my wife lied to me, and supposedly that will make it a happy family. That is the devil teaching. Then to lie during war. To lie during war, which means to lie to who? Guys, when we say lie during war, Muslims in war with who? Somebody tell me. Muslims are in war with who? What war? With the kuffar, non-Muslims. The Quran full of verses saying that you should fight the non-Muslims until the judgment day. So they are in war with you. According to Islam, a Muslim, he believes he is in war with you until judgment day. And war, it's not necessarily that he is holding a gun right now and attacking you. For him, this is a religious war. When he have the opportunity to attack you by a gun, he will. But when he don't, still he is in war, but he cannot do it. So when they say to you, a Muslim, he is allowed to lie during war, but they will not tell you that Muslims are always with war with non-Muslims. If we go in the Quran, it says, "O who you believe, take not my enemy and your enemy as a friend." Chapter 60, verse number 1. Never. You cannot take them as a friends. For what? For they are your enemies. O who you believe, take not my enemies as your friends or protectors. Why? Because they rejected Islam. So my enemies are your enemies. If we go in different verse in the Quran, we will find the following. Chapter 60, verse number 4. It says, there is for an excellent example to follow in Abraham and those who with him, when they say to their people, we are clear of you and whatever you worship beside Allah, and we have rejected you, and there has arisen between us and you enmity and hatred forever, unless you believe in Allah. Do you see it, guys? So Allah is teaching the Muslims that anyone who don't believe in Islam, you as a Muslim, you have a hatred and enmity toward him until Judgment Day, forever. Do you see it? They lie to you. They say, oh, this is only during wartime. What do you think? Wartime in Islam is you as a Muslim, you are in war with someone you never met just because he's not a Muslim. Someone from Japan you never met, he is a Buddha, he's your enemy. Someone from China is an atheist, he's your enemy. And Allah is giving example here. The best of the Muslims is those who do what Abraham do and his followers. When they said that between us and you there's no relationship whatsoever, and between us and you there's enmity and hatred forever. Yeah, and sure, the Muslim, they will say this Quran is da'if. I mean, it's obvious. This Quran is da'if, right? So when Muhammad he said you can lie in war, he mean he can lie to anyone. He is not a Muslim, because Muslims should not fight with each other anyway. The war is always should be with non-Muslims. And even the Muslims they fight him, as I said to you before, they have to call him kafir first before they fight him, which means he is out of Islam already. The excellent example, who is talking? Allah, supposedly, Aka Muhammad. Excellent example is what? Is what those people said. There is nothing between us and you except enmity and hatred forever, unless you believe in Allah. So what is the reason for enmity and hatred? What is the reason? They don't believe in Allah. Not because they are fighting, no. You can write down the reference, you can save it in your bookmark, you can do whatever you need to do. And then we can give tons of verses in the Quran saying and speaking the same thing. And when the Quran in chapter 5 verse number 51 says that you cannot take Christians or Jews as a friends, was the Quran speaking about something temporarily? No, was speaking of until the Judgment Day. And you can read all Islamic interpretation, you will see it says the same. So when Muhammad he said you can lie in 3 cases to your family, to your enemy, to your friends, he meant you can lie to everybody, because who's left? Your enemies is the Jews and the Christians and non-believers. As simple as that. Chapter 3 verse number 28. This is the chapter of Taqiyah. You cannot take them as a friends. Who are they? Anyone is not a Muslim. Is that temporary? No, forever. Chapter 4 verse number 89. You see, even in this chapter here, it says that anyone who don't join the Islamic State, by refusing to join the Islamic State. By what? By doing hijrah. What is a hijrah? To immigrate with the Muslim mujahideen. You see, like the Muslim mujahideen, they immigrate to Afghanistan. So if you got the opportunity to immigrate to Afghanistan to join the Islamic State, whatever Islamic State exists, you should immigrate there. If you don't do that, you are a lawful target to be killed too. For obviously you don't want to do immigration, and this is written in the Quran. But they wish that you should reject faith as they do, and thus be on there in the same foot or footing as they are, but take not friends from their ranks until they flee in the way of Allah. Until what? Until they flee. What flee? Do hijrah, to do jihad. And here between two brackets it says from what is forbidden. This is a lie. To flee and to do jihad, because even if you are a Muslim and you don't do jihad, you see, a Muslim, you have to do jihad in one of two ways. We're talking about the wartime, which is always exist, either his money or his physical body by sword. If you cannot do it by physical, then you have to do jihad by money. If you don't do it by both, because you don't have both, then you are okay. And what if somebody is old or sick, or okay, but you are a poor and you are healthy, you have to go by sword and do jihad. You are rich and you have money, okay, you have to give money. So if you don't do jihad by immigration to the Islamic State, then wherever you find them, seize them and kill them. And in any case, take no friends or helpers from their ranks. In any case. Why? Because we showed you where Allah is supposed to say, take not my enemies as your friends. Those are the enemies of Allah. The enemies of Allah is your enemy. So when a Muslim, he says to you, oh, we are allowed to lie to the enemy, he is just saying to you, I am allowed to lie to you. Then if we go to the interpretation book, and I did read this many times, but let us just take a short fast look at this interpretation. Give me a second to open it. Chapter 3 verse number 28, and again this is the Muslim interpretation. I have nothing to do with it. It says the same, that a Muslim cannot take an unbeliever as a friend, etc. However, the interpretation saying clearly, anyone who take them as a friend, he is sincere about taking them as a friend. If you are a sincere Muslim, sincere in what? Not sincere Muslim to be a Muslim, no, sincere to take me as a friend. If you do that, who's are sincere, who's so friends, has no connection with Allah, which means the second you take me as a friend, you are not a Muslim no more. Has no honor or mercy or protection from Allah, which means Muslims can kill him, slaughter him, rape his wife, unless it be to guard yourself against them. And what does that mean? Well, you live in America, what you want to say? I wish I can kill all the Americans, they will be arrested. You do Taqiyah, as simple as that. You are a Muslim who will take a citizenship. To take a citizenship, you have to take an oath. And the oath, obviously, if you either you believe in it or you don't believe in it. So how we can take an oath? Well, the Quran give you a solution. In chapter 3 verse 28 it says you can lie. In different chapter it says you can take even false oath. Imagine how much deception this cult is full of. Read with me carefully. لا يؤاخذكم الله باللغو في أيمانكم. Okay, what does that mean? Allah will not take you accountable for lying with your oath. You can take oath to anyone, anyone, your wife, your family, your friends, your enemy, it doesn't matter, even your family. Imagine Allah will not call you to account of your truthlessness in your oath, which means if you make an oath and there is no truth in this oath, you don't mean this oath, Allah judge you by the intention of your heart. He's Allah all forgiving. So I can take a billion oath, swearing by Allah, putting my hand in the Quran, I swear I don't hate you, I swear I am your friend, I swear I like you, but Allah doesn't count. Those doesn't count. What count is what in your heart, and this is exactly what it says in the hadith here. Saving yourself from them, speaking in a friendly way toward them while your heart dislike this. That what is important for Islam. You can say I am a friend to the Christians, to the Jews, to the Hindu, to the Buddhists as much as you wish. As long your heart is dislike this, it's fine. But if you are sincere and you mean it, you are not a Muslim no more. You are a hypocrite. You are a disbeliever, and you has no connection to Allah, and has no honor, no mercy and protection, which means Muslims can kill you, slaughter you, rape your wife, take your money. That is Islam, my friend. You can take false testimony. You can go, you can say anything you want. Allah will not take you accountable for your false oath and lies. Allah, He cares what is in your heart. He understands you are trying to fool the Jews, the Christians, the Hindus, the Buddhists, the atheists. That's good. Perfect. As long you are not sincere and you don't mean to be their friends. So when the Muslims they say it's a myth, it's a lie,